jumping over to sort of something really relevant now, which is tenant landlord law and sort of the legal landscape in California over the past few years, especially San Francisco and LA, has really shifted to heavily favor the tenants. And I know a lot of landlords have been left high and dry. So where are we currently with the eviction moratorium? I know it's city specific, but just sort of a general overview.
So
Yeah,
generally,
like what's on the horizon?
all of LA County right now has a complete moratorium. So a
Yeah.
landlord cannot evict a tenant under any circumstance. There's a very small exception if the seller decides to move, or sorry, if the owner decides to move back into the property themselves or a family member. But generally, there's a pause completely, and that is till at least 2023. I know San
Okay.
Francisco is the same way, I believe. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Similar timeline. I'm not sure if they've set January 1st yet,
But in Orange County, for example, where I'm located, evictions are moving forward with no issue.
yeah.
Orange County tends to be more conservative and more in favor of landlords. So, I mean, it's been really, really tough for my clients who are landlords to be in this position of, I gotta pay the mortgage and the carrying costs of this property, and I'm not receiving any income from the tenants.
In a very similar context, Marin County versus San Francisco. In Marin, it's become much easier to evict, and I manage and run an apartment building here, and we've got a guy here that hasn't paid rent since the start of this whole thing, and we're finally at the point now where we can pursue him. We can't necessarily get it, but we can pursue him for
The background.
$100K that he owes type thing, and that's insane.
And the government of California, you know, they were given a lot of money from the federal government to help tenants pay back and pay their landlords for unpaid rent up to 80%. But of course, anything with the government, it wasn't done as ideally as possible. I mean, what I believe should have happened was the money goes directly from the government to the landlords. But
Absolutely.
instead, the money was coming to the tenants, and then the tenants were paying the landlord. So
You're choosing not to pay the landlord, clearly.
there was quite a bit of fraud going on, but they had a huge pool of money, and they were offering landlords 80% of back rent owed by tenants if they didn't pursue the eviction against the tenant. So you could have either or. You could legally pursue an eviction through the courts, or you could engage in this application process to get money from the government for unpaid rent, but you couldn't do both.
Interesting.
But you saw landlords pursuing both avenues, which wasn't legal or ethical to do. And then you saw landlords and tenants sometimes making deals to get money for the government, even though the landlord is being paid and the tenant didn't have any financial hardship. So there was fraud going on.
That would be a really easy system to just set up the other way, like you just said, just send it directly to the landlord. We don't have to worry about any of this. But I guess the government thought maybe they could get away with a lot of people not doing either
I think
and keeping.
psychologically the government thought, hey, we're going to make it seem like we're giving power to the people. We're going to give renters money in their pockets. And so I think psychologically that was maybe the impetus behind that, but in reality it ended up that it really should have been paid directly to the landlord because there was funny business.